Hello YouTube family, we're doing a little Stardew playthrough as you can see. So the goal here is to make this my forever world, but also 100% it. So how long will this take me? Who knows? But here I am editing my character and spelling my name wrong. Nothing new here. I really didn't know what I wanted the farm name to be. I tried to think of something like cute, but as you can see, it's not cute. I tried YouTube farm, but then it was like already farm there. And I was like, oh, stream farm. No, because stream won't see this. So, lo and behold, we got Hottie's farm. Because I think you guys are hotties. For my favorite thing, I chose money/coins because who doesn't like money? You know what I mean? But also I don't really know what that's for. Does that mean like it's your favorite? Like, do you get a lot? Yep. Moving on. I chose a cat. Whilst doing this, I was thinking, hey, let's just do one huge Stardew video, right? And I could 100% it and upload on YouTube, and you've seen those where they're like 8 hours. Well, when I tried to do just year one spring, my computer or my iPad could sustain the amount of storage I needed for that. So now we're just gonna upload everything in parts, and I hope you guys really love to watch it and enjoy me playing Stardew with a smooth brain. But I get through it, I promise. I will not lie to you guys, every time I play this game, my first starting outfit is always the same because I just think it's cute and fancy. Now, if you guys are watching this with your eyes open, you'll see that I'm making a grave mistake here. And if it hasn't, caught you guys' eye yet, you're about to see it in a couple minutes when I mention it later in the video. Because, Grandpa told me I was a boy. So, anyways, once I go over to the right and decide to pick a farm, I go ahead and do the hilltop farm. It's a farm that I wanted to use when I was going to do a stream version of this. I think it looks cute. I think I have some really cool ideas to help set up my farm later on in like year 2 or 3, or maybe even winter of year 1, depending on how I play through it. But I think I could pull it off. I've done the farm with the monsters that spawn at night, and I loved her, and I got to year 3 and I realized that I hated the farm. So let's see what I can do with the hilltop farm. Let's go ahead and get straight on into the game. For those of you who have never seen this cutscene before, I decided to go ahead and play out this little sequence. I don't play out the sequence of all cutscenes and dialogues, but why not in the beginning? Just to give you guys a little taste of how Stardew starts. Now listen close. ... Suspense. There will come a day when you feel crushed by the burden of modern life. ... Is he gonna keep going? Or there it is. And your bright spirit will fade before a growing emptiness. Suspense. When this happens, my boy, see, there's the first time he said it, my boy, you'll be ready for this gift. And you know what's crazy? I read this part and didn't think nothing of it. Now let Grandpa rest. I think he passed. R.I.P. Grandpa. X amount of years later. Now that I'm watching the scene back, what is bro with the cowboy hat doing? Like, sir, and then there's me. Like, look how cute my character is. There's someone dead. Y'all see that? What the heck? Anyways, the point is, there I am, stressed, and the emptiness has caught me. He's sleeping, the skeleton, and I open Grandpa's letter. Spoiler, I get the farm. Pretend like you're reading this with me. If you're reading this, you must be in a dire need of... So I dropped everything and moved to the place I could... Damn. Oh, that went fast. Hold on. And then I'm reading this letter from Grandpa. And maybe you guys noticed this sooner than I did. But I then noticed Grandpa calls me my boy. Or he says my boy. And that kind of puzzles me for a second. And so this is just me still pondering on why my grandfather knows I'm a girl. But he says my boy. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what mistake could I have made for him to call me my boy, right? And so I'm just sitting on the bus on my way to Stardew Valley, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, I made a grave, grave mistake. Remember back in the beginning when I was editing and picking my character? Well, I realized I never picked the feminine symbol because I forgot that that was even an important thing. So you know what I did, chat? You'll never guess. I went to Stardew Valley, went back, and started a new world. Oh my gosh, I totally made it to the valley for my first time ever, and I've never seen this house before. Oh my gosh. I did skip the cutscenes here because I was too embarrassed. So let's go ahead and open up my parsnips and get down to business. Let's check my quests, introduce people and cultivate and harvest some parsnips. So let's get back down to business. The farm is clearly a hot mess, and so I decided to start doing a little bit of irrigation. Is that what that's called? I hope so. Anyways, and I start swiping down the weeds and swiping some of the grass, which I realized I don't have a silo, so I just wasted grass, but that's okay. Let's cut down some trees. I am trying my very best to make as much space for my garden, especially because I need to plant the 15 parsnips and get some potatoes and everything else for the community center because that is something I do want to finish in year one. So I have to keep wasting grass and knocking down trees to my heart's capacity. Once I get all my seeds planted, I go ahead and decide to water them. And watering is going to be a hassle for this whole first season, let me tell you, because I don't upgrade my watering can at all during spring. So this is going to suck. Every day I won't show me watering the plants, but just know that they are watered, tended, and taken care of. I don't play about my gardens, at least in the game, because in real life I do not have a green thumb, but that's neither here nor there. Let's chop down this tree. Once I do some more interrogation, Emancipation Proclamation, I go ahead and decide to create my first chest. And I'm going to do my best to keep things organized, but it's going to be a little bit challenging since I won't have all of the materials I need to make as many chests and everything I want organized. But for now, we'll have one chest. I'll have 5 by the end of the season and make sure I organize throughout to maintain some sense of structure. Once I'm done with that, I decide to go down here and clear out some more space for my farm. Of course, I need to build a coop for at some point, and I'm not really familiar with this farm, so I really need to see what I'm working with here. I also want to map out where I want to put my barn at some point, obelisks, all of these things, and so I'm just trying to really scope the scenery out, you know what I mean? Anyways, which was not great because I forgot I need a stronger pickaxe for those funky rocks. Yeah, but it's fine. I make do with what I can. We're on the come up. Comeback season 2025. Since I'm running low on energy, I decide to make my way back up to my little hut, my little house, and then I get stuck and then have to waste more energy that I clearly don't have. And why not? I need the resources, so I guess I can't necessarily complain, but I am exhausted. Now, what I did forget is in single player, you just have to go to sleep. You can't rest. I'm used to playing multiplayer where you can rest in your bed for a couple minutes, get back up, and get back to business. So I leave, and I decide to go make myself acquainted with a few people in town. Because maybe I don't want to wait for the spring festival. Maybe I'm a friendly farmer. You know what I mean? And that was me being indecisive for like 2 seconds. But I go ahead, see if there's anything to forage in this little area, and I got 2 dandelions, which I was very, 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 very happy about. I go over here to see if there's anything that I can pluck, but also I remember later on in the game, I can get a basket for good old I forgot his name. So I try to be proactive, and I go back over here to this tunnel to see if I can get the basket just to keep it in my inventory so when the time comes, I'll go ahead and give it to Linus. But then I realize it's not there. So I just wasted my time going to this tunnel. Cool. We head back to this little area, and I still don't see anything I can plug. Just kidding, found a dandelion. So I'm just going to go ahead and go right on back, see if I can sneak into town, introduce myself to a few people, and call it an easy little day. I get into town and I see Marnie and my husband Harvey, my soon-to-be husband Harvey. Can you move? Thank you. Anyways, and I talk to my husband Harvey, and then I say hello to Leah. Something light, something slight. I go on down to see if I can go ahead and talk to Willie about getting a fishing rod. Now, this is what I did forget, that there's a whole letter that he sends you in the mail about a fishing rod. But when do I ever remember any slightest detail to anything in my life? Anyways, so this is me walking down there, wasting more of my freaking time. And guess what? He wasn't there. Once I realize that I wasted my time, I throw a little temper tantrum and I walk all the way back up to Pelican Town. On the walk back, I'm doing my best to see if I see anything else that could be forageable. And I see Granny in the right corner, and so I go over there and decide to say hi. One thing I do love that I learned through TikTok is that when you're fishing and you find her, you can find glasses, you can actually give them to Granny and she'll say they're hers, which I previously didn't know, but I think that was a recent addition in the 1.6 update, which I think is so stinking cool. Once I get back to my farm, I decide to put up the things that I foraged, and I'm really looking forward to some tool upgrades and storage upgrade because this is going to help me get through. I decided to move my bed closer and rearrange a little bit. I don't really have a particular theme since obviously later in the game I'll upgrade everything, but I just know I want my bed closer to the door, which later you'll see me pass out by my bed, which means I should have just put it in the doorway in the first place, but it's fine. Once I arrange a few more things and get them where I think I want them, at least for the time being, I watch the TV a few more times and then I get in bed and I get some shut eye. Overnight, we leveled to level 1 foraging. My goal for the day is to water my plants and do a little bit of cleaning up the farm. I don't get much done as, in the beginning of the game, energy is scarce. But I do make a couple dents and I decide to go up and craft my first chest and try to get a few things organized. Just a forewarning, a lot of this changes. I change my mind a few times about how I want to organize a few things, but I promise it does not look messy forever. I get my bearings at some point. Done with that, I head to town and I also decide to look at Mayor Lewis's trash. In my brain, I'm like, oh, he's turned around. He can't see me digging his trash, which he could. Whoops. But also, you're the mayor. Get me arrested then if you don't like me digging your trash. And then I finally get my cutscene with Willie and I finally get to fish. I'm not actually that excited, but I am excited to get more money. If you know me, you know I suck at fishing, but this is my world, so I'm going to take my time to learn and be better. And this is teaching me how to fish, which as you can see, I'm doing a wonderful, wonderful job. But I get it, so it's fine. I go to the river and fish a little bit more just because I feel more confident fishing here. And I'm doing pretty well, very proud of myself. And my goal is to make sure I get all of the spring fish for the community center because I do want to try to finish the community center under a year. If I don't, no biggie. Again, the goal is this is my forever world, so it's fine. But I also don't want to drag it on for forever. I ended up fishing till I was exhausted and decided to say what's up to Elliot. Fun fact, I romanced him in one of my personal worlds. That was my little Pookie. On my way back to my farm, I decided to stop at Pierre's and get some more parsnips. I do want to have a pretty big farm, but I know the farm that I chose doesn't have too much space to do so, but I will work with what I got. I make some space, I plant my seeds, exhausting myself a number of times. I make more space. I water as much as I can. Once I get to bed, I wake up and I'm at level 1 fishing, and I made a couple dollars over the night. It's not great, but a little can go a long way. On day 3, I shoot all the way over to the mines, thinking that they're open, and guess what? They weren't open, and that pissed me off. But it's okay. I walk away, throw a little temper tantrum, but it's fine. From there, I go into town and I do some trash digging. Yes, I hold the ground, shut up. And I see if I can find any trinkets and some trash. I go home, grab my fishing rod, and I get to fishing for some catfish for some big bucks. I get some glasses and I take them right over to Granny. I start hauling butt cheeks. I'm gonna put them in a dungeon. Okay, I'm kidding. Sorry, so sorry. Those weren't the lyrics. But anyways, we take them to Granny, get some friendship levels with her, and I love that little Easter egg. Anyways. I go fishing some more once I leave Granny's. My goal is to try my best to get to level fishing 10 by summer at least, or the middle of summer, whatever comes first. Once I'm through fishing, I decide to go back, sell most of my fish, and take whatever leftover energy I have down to my plot and get to chopping wood and knocking out grass and stone. Once I'm exhausted, I make another chest, and then I go inside and hit the hay. Overnight, I make a decent amount of coin, and I'm ready for day 4. On day 4, I'm up out the door watering plants. Chopping down wood, and exhausting myself by 10 a.m. in the morning. Don't you just love early Stardew days? Since I kept getting exhausted, I decided to call it early night by 1 p.m. Early day, I guess, and I leveled up to level 2 foraging. On day 5, I wake up to some mail from Joja, or Morris, whatever, who cares, because no one likes him. So I didn't read it, and I moved on about my day. For most of day 5, I focused on fishing to get some money. I did see Sam, said what's up to him. I ran to Pierre's to get some extra seeds because my parsnips were ready to harvest. I picked those up and I placed my new seeds. Overnight, I got to fishing level 2 and farming level 1. I got some decent amount of money from fishing and parsnips, leaving me at a whopping 680 bucks, or coins, however you want to look at it, and gets ready for day 6. On day 6, I wake up to rain, which is amazing for me because now I don't have to water my plants, but I also get to pick up my parsnips that are ready to harvest. After harvesting my parsnips, I run up to the community center, and I still haven't gotten the cutscene, which I feel like in other playthroughs I always got the cutscene a lot sooner than day 6. I do run into Shane, which he is clearly lovely. Love that for me. I used to be a big hater of Shane and Haley, but after I played the game a while and leveled up my friendship with him, I sympathized with him. Well, not with him, for him, and I did end up liking him. But still, in the beginning, he's so rude, and I understand he has a lot going on, but geez, guy, I'm a new farmer. Cut me some slack. My goal was to do some foraging, mainly for some spring onions, and I know that there's a chance to get some that spawn down here. And lo and behold, I found one by the sewer, and I was so stinking happy. I decided to do some fishing, and if you're wondering why I'm fishing from this angle, stop wondering. Don't ask. I decided to leave this part in here where a fish completely just shows me who's boss and pisses me off, and so I walk away. Because I don't have anger issues. I'm not going to push my PC through the window or anything. Because fish just don't know how to get on my freaking bobber. Once I'm back on my farm, I divide the fish that I decide to sell and some that I decide to keep for the community center, and I just like to hoard a few items in the game. I snuggle up in my bed and get ready for day 7. On day 7, a crow is picking at my goddamn parsnips because I forgot to make a scarecrow. Lucky me. I make my scarecrow, I place it, pick up my parsnips, and go on my grown ass business. And yes, because grown ass playing a video game deserves to be in the same sentence. Yeah, they do. It is my lucky day. I go up to the mines and it is finally open, which means I should also have access to community center. And I get my little cutscene, I skip it, I grab my sword, and I get down to business. The lowest I could get was to floor 8 because if you guys noticed, I didn't bring food. And this is unfortunately something I do often in this playthrough and in my personal playthroughs. I'm always forgetting food. I'm always forgetting food every single time. It never fails. Once I get home, I decide to throw some things in my chest. Again, not fully organized yet. I check my progression and I head back into town. And heading into town, I see my Pookie Harvey in the left. Oh my gosh. My love, one day you will be mine. I don't have a gift for him, but I talk to him. That's all that matters, you know? We love a slow burn trope. That's how it is with me and Harvey. And then, of course, Mayor Lucas gets his parsnipped, whatever. I did remember that Spring 7 was Mayor Lewis's birthday, but I wanted to check and see who else's birthday was this month so I could kind of keep it in mind as I play. Whilst I was in the neighborhood, I figured I'd go pop in and say hi to a few neighbors, which is weird. I just walked in Penny's house to say hi while she's washing the dishes. Thank God it's not real life, because I would have called the police on myself. I wanted to go say hi to Haley to at least start something, but she wasn't at home. She was probably somewhere flirting with Alex. And then I went next door, and no one in Jody's family was home. At all. Like, what are you guys doing? You have nothing to do right now. Anyways, I did also decide to go stop and talk to the traveling cart lady, which I want to give her a name, you guys. Should we call her, like, Big Bertha, Birdie, Susan, Purple Hair Lady? I don't know, but I want to give her a name this playthrough. But I'm also really bad at remembering to go see her. See the issue? I'll be back, Big Bertha, one day. Just a reminder, I'm not familiar with this farm. So, this whole time I thought there really wasn't a way to get up to my house through the bottom of the farm. But there was. And I made it. Because I thought this log was blocking the way. But then I see this little way over here on the right. And I was so happy. All I had to do was clear out some more of my farm, which I'm so splotty at doing. Like, some days I'll do like 2 trees and call it a day because I'm exhausted in like 5 seconds. But I did find a way to my house after being exhausted yet again. And I'm just happy I found a way through the bottom, you guys. I'm like making so much progress. At the end of day 7, we didn't make too much money, mainly because I don't have too much to sell, but that's okay. This preps me because every day we will sell more and more and make great progress. Day 8, it is raining yet again. No having to water my garden, thank God. And Clint shows up with the freaking furnace recipe. Thank God. Thank God, because these old tools are not doing it for me anymore, honey. They're not. So W Clint, even though I have like a love-hate relationship with him. Thank you. Upon receiving my furnace recipe, I then realized I didn't have enough materials to make a furnace. To the mines we go. In the mines, I got down to level 10, and I got me some fancy new leather boots, and I popped those bad boys on to help with a little bit of defense, and I went back to the mines and back down to business. I almost made it to level 15, but I ran out of food and I was very low on health. Since the main objective was to make a furnace, I just decided to throw everything in my little chest, go to crafting, and then make the furnace and get to smelting my ore. I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm super excited to be smelting my ore. This is me doing my happy dance. Yeah. Anyways, I head back over to the mountain pond and I decide to do a little bit of fishing. Psych, I lied. I'm going back to the mines. I left my chest in there. I just went back to get it so I could actually fish properly. The goal is to put my excess fish in there so I can fish without having to run back and forth from home and wasting more energy and daylight. So this is a pretty efficient way that I learned from watching another Stardew player. My issue was trying to find somewhere to put it where it wouldn't get taken from the NPCs walking. Because I've had that happen a few times and it hurts real bad. Anyways, back to fishing we go, and I'm already exhausted. Don't we love to see it? Once I've exhausted myself and my resources, I toss some glasses, grab my chub, and I try to fish, but it doesn't work. So I go back home, plant the rice seeds I got from my chest, toss whatever fish I decide to keep in there, and the rest I decide to sell. Some of the fish I want to keep so I can smoke them and then get more money later in the season, maybe even towards the summer. But for now, we're going to sell some of them and then head on back to bed. Overnight, I get to level 1 mining and level 3 fishing, and I get a decent amount of money. Actually, it's really low, but I have to gaslight myself into thinking it's a good amount because it's early days in my game. On day 9, we get a letter, and it's from Robin. I really didn't read it. It's basically her apologizing. It's cool, girl, because I'm about to be at your house, ask you to build stuff. Anyways, to walk away, I realized Robin sent me another letter basically saying she had a well if I had 75 stones and 1,000 coins or gold, whatever you want to call it. Also, the little mouse house guy lets me know he has hats. W hat guy. Once I check all my mail, I decide to go to this little area and do a little bit of foraging, and I find 2 daffodils and a dandelion. Then I head to Pierre's to see if anyone has a quest I can fulfill. I have a problem accepting them and then forgetting to fulfill them. I then realize I have to stand outside of Pierre's until I can buy what I wanted to buy, unfortunately, so I decided to do a little bit of trash digging. After being a little gross dumpster diver, I realized I still have to wait outside Pierre's because who leaves their farm at 6 in the morning? Me. Anyways, let's go up to the community center and see if it's open. What do you think the answer is going to be, you guys? The answer is not open. I don't know why, but it wasn't open. So we head back down to Pierre's. Instead, I walk back down to the beach instead of waiting for 10 more seconds for Pierre's to open. I decide that it's smarter to go see Willie first. I don't know why I make these choices in game, but I have to commit to the bit, I guess. Anyways, I decide to get the fiberglass rod, which I needed a rod upgrade anyway if I want to catch more fish for better quality. And I go ahead and try to sell my old rod to good old Willie, but he didn't take it, which is kind of rude, so I just throw it away. I don't know if that was a good or bad investment, but I just wanted to get rid of it. Go ahead and head back up to Pierre's, because I think he's open. I don't know. And he is. So we get there, and guess what I do? I upgrade my backpack. No, I don't. Actually, I don't have the money because I'm broke. Anyways, we buy some parsnips with the remaining cash we have, which is like $2. But it's fine. I even bought a cauliflower when I realized I didn't need it. But it's okay. Commit to the bit. And then I sell those back eventually because I realized I needed parsnips more. Yeah, wasted money. I'm aware. I make stupid choices all the time. Please don't judge me. Just enjoy the gameplay, please. Once I get back to my plot, I plant my 8 little parsnip seeds. And you guys remember earlier in the video when I said I'm not familiar with my plot? Yeah, I was trying to make my way down to the little area near Marnie's, but yeah, I'm kind of blocked off. And guess who doesn't have any of her tools? This girl. So head back on up, grab my tools, and try to make a path, because I'm pretty sure that there's a way down there in all farms, but I'm not familiar with this type of plot, so I'm struggling a wee bit. Once I officially stop looking like a lost duckling cleaning out my plot, I head down to the river to start doing some fishing with my new and enhanced rod. I'm so excited. Not really, I hate fishing, but I did pretty good. Whilst fishing, I saw Leah come out of her house, so I decided to go say hello to her. It's early game, so I didn't really have anything to give her, but I did try to give her a little snack. She didn't like it, but too bad, homegirl. That's all I had. After that, I go back to fishing, and then I head back to my plot and try to clear a little bit of the clutter, just so later in the game it's not as bad for me. And then I head on back to sleep and get ready for day 10. Guess what happens on day 10, you guys? I got my cat. I've been waiting on you for forever, honey, and Marnie found you and brought you home. Oh my gosh. Now we come up to a problem. What do we name her? Bad bit. Just kidding. Just kidding. The she is one. Clock that T. Anyways, I didn't really know what to name her. And I also felt like at some point all of the names in the game are kind of mid. So, what about Cat? No, that's mid too. Yeah. I hear you. I heard you. So I decided maybe White Cat. Just kidding. That's crazy. I ended up settling on Ivory because I think that's so cute. I even thought Icarus, but I forgot I wanted her to be a girl. So Ivory, but then I was like, no, is that basic? And then the names in the game, yeah, they're giving something, but it's not giving it. You know what I mean? Anyways, I end up going back to Ivory once you see me pissed. Anyways, Ivory it is, and we love Ivory, and she has a little home. My sweet little Ivory. Anyways, let's get to harvesting these plants, and I decided to water some too since I don't have sprinklers and I'm leveling up really slow for my liking. I head on down to the river, and I decide to, you guessed it, I start fishing yet again. After fishing for a while, I decided to look around and see if I can find some spring onions, and I found 2 more by the sewer, which was exciting. I really wanted to save some for just to hold, and also for any quests that may come around later in my gameplay. I run up to the old house and I see the little hat mouse, and he doesn't have any good hats, nor did I have any money to buy said hats. So I go ahead and buy my business, do some more fishing, keep some in the chest, and get back to business. The junk we'll come back and get eventually, but for now we're gonna go back to my plot, sell this fish, get that money, and go to sleep. On day 11, I got a letter in the mail that Robin needed her axe, and I remembered exactly where it was. So on the way down there, I grabbed some of my junk from my fishing chest, and I head all the way over to the bottom of the map, and I grab Robin's little axe, and I take it straight back to the mountains to her. I actually have to wait outside for a second because, I left a little early. Once I give Robin her axe, I decide to look at my quests, grab the money she gives me, and check on any other things I need to knock out. Once I leave Robin's, I decided to go ahead and see how many floors I can knock out in the mines since I had to give up on level 14. Embarrassing. I did bring food this time, so I'm very well equipped and prepared for the worst. Not gonna lie to you guys, at one point I do get an infected area and then I get my ass handed to me by a couple of loser slimes and bugs. Now, it's not bad had I had a better sword, but it is day 11 in the spring, so beggars can't be choosers. On the bright side, I did find a book and I was able to get a little bit of experience, and then I ran out of food and I was dying, so I had to quit on level 14 again. There was no stairs. I couldn't create stairs. I had bombs. Yeah. Anyways, so I went to go forge. I went to go forge to save my sanity. With my low health, I decided to go fishing, and on the way there, I ran into Caroline. Oh my goodness. And I was thinking about Harvey. Why not giving him something? He was closed. So I went fishing. And cried about how Harvey closed his store because he doesn't love me yet. It's fine. Mind you, he owns a hospital, not a store. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted you to see me catch a fish that's hard and a chest, because one thing I will do is always risk it for the biscuit. No matter how hard the fish is, I always try to get the chest. Sometimes it works out for me like this did in this case, but I almost lost it. But guess what? A Stardew player never loses. You know what I mean? Like, you never really lose. You know what I mean? And I got the fish, so. Maybe asking, was that chest worth it? Not at all. But let's go to the saloon and see who's there. I do see my man Harvey. I gave Willie a fish, though, and I didn't really have anything nice to give Harvey. But I did give a daffodil to Leah. Or is that Jody? That's Leah. Sorry. I get them mixed up. Anyways. And then Pam, I want to give her a beer, and I feel like that's not great. But anyways, I decided to go through my list and see who I need to level up friendships with. And there's a lot of villagers that I need to meet. And that seems like a later issue for Cherish. Anyways, as mentioned before, the goal is to have all of this filled out. No gray boxes whatsoever. At some point, I don't know if it'll be year 2 or 3. It's just going to be a journey. My YouTube channel and me, for sure. After my long day, I decided to get some shut-eye. I got to level 2 farming. I also got to level 1 combat. And lastly, I got to level 5 fishing. I decided to do fish worth 25% more because I knew I wanted to smoke the fish and sell them later for more cash throughout my gameplay. Lastly, I made a few coins. I decided this is enough for me today. I hope that you guys love this little playthrough. This will be dropped in parts, and I hope you guys enjoy, and there will be more to come. Like and subscribe.